Alright then guys, it's time to go back to the Shire. That nice, safe, warm, green place. Let's do the Lord of the Rings theme, but this time on the ukulele. I'm going to play it nice and simple to you first, I think, and we'll break it down that way before we beef it up with chords. So, we're ignoring all the blue notes if we're looking at the tab, and we're just playing the black ones. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. Even that just makes me think, it just makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside. I just love it. Anyway, I'm very biased. Okay, so let's look at the rhythms first then. So we're starting with a whole bunch of lightning bolt, crotchet or quarter note rests. They're just worth 1, so we could count them as T if we like. We could go T, T, T every time we see them. And you'll see I've put them in a couple more times in the score because the minims are not clear on this software. They're just not, and that drives me nuts. And I thought if I put a crotchet rest in there, it's obvious to you guys that the note before it is then worth 2. Don't worry if that throws you, but basically sometimes a bar on this software can look like it's in 3/4, and I was like, do you know what, I'm just going to spare these guys. I'm just going to make it obvious that it's still in 4/4, nothing's changed, and yeah, hopefully it helps. Don't worry if it doesn't. So what that means is when you get later on, I will explain this again, but later on when you get to like bars where you're holding down a chord, it means that you're going to let it ring for longer. We're kind of ignoring the rest, but we're also aware of it. And again, don't worry if that's going over your head. Not a problem. I'll explain it better later. Okay, so we're starting with 3 of those, and then we've got our coffee, because we've got our pair of quavers, so whenever you see that symbol, basically, the symbol that looks like Staples, then you've got coffee. So in terms of the rhythm, we're going coffee, tea, 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 tea. Coffee, tea, 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 tea. Coffee, tea, coffee, tea, 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 tea. Coffee, tea, 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 coffee, tea, coffee, tea. Alright, so it's not too bad with the rhythm. I wanted to make this nice and simple, so I'm sure the purists out there will be like, it's not quite the rhythm, and it's fine, you can mix it up a little bit and put some semi-quavers in there and things like that if you want to, but I wanted this to be lovely and accessible to everybody because this is the general outline of the tune. Okay, I've said my piece. So let's actually break it down then. So 3 T's to start with, and then we're in with coffee. We're on our C string first. I'm a guitar finger picker by trade, so you can see I've got my index there, my middle finger there, my ring finger there, because they're just used to that. My thumb is used to being here. If that's not the case for you guys, then by all means drop it down a notch. I think a lot of people find that easier to go thumb, index, middle, and then just move the thumb up if they're on a bass note. I'll try and keep this monkey in shot so that you can see why I do it this way, because then later when we've got chords, I can pluck everything a certain way. It just makes things easier. For moi. Anyway, let's crack on then. So tune first. T, T, T. Coffee. Sorry, thumb was in the way, through the finger. So there you go, top tip again. Keep your thumb out of the way. T, T, T. Coffee. All on the index. And we're coming over to my middle. T. Just gonna do that again because I know I can go a bit too fast sometimes. So middle finger for me. That's the 3rd. Lifting it off, coming to 2, and then we're open. And this is the note. This is the one I'm saying that hold it down for longer. So let it ring for 2. 1, 2, 3. In this case 3 actually, but that's fine too. Coffee. And I'm back on my middle finger with that one. Coffee. Also notice I'm not hammering on with this one, guys. It's because it's not, it's not like an Irish jig or anything. I don't need to rush through it. I want to take my time with this. It's a very sweet, reflective tune. And I don't know, hammer-ons, you can do it if you feel like you would rather do it that way. For me personally, I would rather not. Anyway, cracking on. T, 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 And at this point I'm using my ring finger, by the way. And back to the 3 with my middle finger, and then we're open. Let's do that bar again because we've got some coffees in there. So tea, coffee, tea, coffee. One more time, why not? And then we'll carry on. Tea, coffee, tea, coffee. Carrying on, this is a repeat. 1, 2, 3, coffee. Then this changes. Ring finger again. 2, 3, 4. And you'll notice that penultimate bar has the same rhythm as the last bar of the top line as well, which kind of helps. Once you've got it once, it's also a direct copy actually. Oh, not quite a direct copy. I was staring at it going, oh, it kind of is. Ah, it kind of isn't. The last one's got an A minor in it, as opposed to a C, which are relative chords, so, you know, easy mistake to make. Anyway, penultimate bar again. So, tea, coffee. That was all with the middle finger. Coming over to the index. Tea, coffee, tea. And one last time. Don't worry if that happens with you, if this finger decides it's going to take both of them. It's okay. It'll figure it out, and it'll probably change in a minute when we put chords on it anyway. So there you go, that's the tune. Once you've got that, you're pretty happy with that, you can beef it up with some chords. That said, I should say that sometimes the fingers you will use when you're playing just one tune will change the minute you start putting on chords. So it's up to you, basically, is what I'm saying. You might find that even worse if you've learnt it one way and then you have to learn it another way with the chords. It's kind of up to you. I'll leave that in your hands. For me personally, sometimes I just want to run a tune through first before I start beefing it up. So I'm not bothered too much about the fingers I use. It's your preference. Anyway, moving on then. Moving on up. Let's pop some chords on. So, just at a glance, if you look at this, you're going to be like, ah, that doesn't look like a normal C. Well, it is. It's just that we're not putting this finger down. We're going to use the 2 in the middle. And yeah, I know it doesn't look like a normal E minor, but it is. It's using, basically, the 4 E minor shape. Just sort of. It's using the 4 from that. So a lot of them you're going to be like, eh. But the minute you get nice chunky things, like if you look along to the 4th bar, the top line, suddenly you have like a whole bunch of numbers. And it's just an F chord. It looks way scarier than it is. So there we go. Let's walk through it then. So T, 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 coffee. 2 in the middle, plucking together, index and middle. Moving over to that 4, plucking this one with the E string. It's nice that. That's going to sound so nice on a low G uke. Oh, I don't have a low G uke, but you know, good for you guys that do. And you'll notice with that F, it is the same fingering as an A minor, but as long as you just pluck these ones, we don't want to pluck all of it or it's an A minor. So you got to make sure you just pluck those 2. And I'm using my thumb and index with that. 2, 3, 4, or T, 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 coffee. All right, then we're coming into the full version of the F. And we can do a nice staggered pluck if you like. And that's just when I put all my fingers down, so my thumb, my index, my middle, and my ring are there. And slowly, without getting my knuckle in the way, slowly but surely, I pull them all off one at a time. So it's a staggered pluck. It's a nice little thing to do every now and then, rather than just a up to you though. Again, that's something to build towards. You don't have to run before you can walk, okay? Anyway, so from that bar, F, here we go. T, little finger over to the 3 to help me get to my G. Even though it comes off, it kind of helps. It's like a little anchor, like a pivot if anybody's ever played netball. No youth, like I did. It just helps you move. And then you come over to your G, back to the 3 again. One more time. Let's try and make sure you can see that. And then that 2 in the middle for the C. And then the thumb and the index. If it helps, pop down a G. But you'll notice you're not using these 2. So if that doesn't help, don't feel you have to do it. Okay. carrying on. Your next bar's a repeat. Your next two are, in fact. So this is nice. Once you got the top line, you're ready to go. You got half of the bottom line. And a nice F. I do like this F. Pause on this F. Really feel it. That's the 3 there. If I move that finger out the way. So again, because I'm leaving it down because we want it to ring. And don't feel that you have to do this with your ring finger. I'm just doing that so you can see what's going on. It's very uncomfortable. And then A minor. Actually, don't hit that string like I just did. You want the 3 in the middle. And I'll tell you why in a minute, but carry on. The 1 behind it, you still want it to ring, which is why I haven't taken this finger off. I could just go, oh. But I prefer to leave it down. And then coming over to a G, same thing again. You can put 1 finger down. You don't have to put those down if you don't want to. That said, if your fingers have a habit of putting the whole thing down, that's fine too. Do whatever they want to do. And then a nice bottom 2 for C. And now I'm going to explain to you why it's not that to finish. Well, there is kind of like, I was going to say an unwritten rule in music, but it's kind of written. Basically, your harmony notes are going to sit underneath your melody notes. So the tune is that 0. Do, 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 for the cadence point, which is just the ending. But anyway, that's the tune, yeah? So underneath it, on the tab, definitely. I know in pitch, not quite. But underneath it will sit something else to make up that chord. So you wouldn't suddenly put the 3 on there because that's above it. And also, it just doesn't sound right. It sounds too happy, and it's kind of a thoughtful moment. I know it doesn't sound fabulous on this because it's not a low G, but if you have a low G ukulele, this is going to sound awesome for you, and that's great. It doesn't sound horribly wrong, but anyway, that's why we're not going full C. Same with that A minor. That's why we didn't chuck that one in there. You can if you want to. I mean, these are, it's a bit like that pirate code, you know. They're more like guidelines. You can mess with it if you want to. It's up to you. But this is the way I was taught anyway. So I wouldn't hit that one because otherwise this note is then above the actual tune, the melody note, which is that one. Oh gosh, I'm so inaccurate when I go off on one. But yeah, you see what I mean? Hopefully. But again, up to you. You know me, guys. You can maul it as much as you want. All right, we're going to go through the whole thing one more time without me pausing. Well, I'll try and go nice and steady for you. Do remember you've got that little cog for the settings round about there. You click on that, you click playback speed, and you turn it to 75, and then I get extra slow-mo, which is much easier to follow. Here we go. T, T, T. Enjoy this one, guys. It gives me such a warm fuzzy feeling just to return to the Shire in my head. Oh, I love the Lord of the Rings. Anyway, I digress. Thank you ever so much for joining me again, guys, and I'll see you all again soon.